Welcome, everybody. My name is Krush AK, and this is the Market Meditations podcast. We chat with fascinating people from around the world to extract mindsets, routines, stories, and habits to help you build richer lives. Meditators, today we have on the podcast Red. Red is a reputable trader in the crypto Twitter space. He has recently managed to accomplish a huge goal of his, which is to work at a proper company and trade professionally. He shares with us his trading secrets, his mindset, his strategies, what he recommends for beginners, common pitfalls, his journey, and even how he's managed to network his way through Twitter to get his current job. Welcome, meditators, to another episode of the Market Meditations podcast. I have with me today a really well-respected trader from our own crypto Twitter space, Red. Red, thank you so much for joining me.
Yo, thanks, Krush. Thanks a lot for having me, man.
So, thank you for coming on. It's my pleasure. I know you used to have a green profile picture. Will you ever go back to green, and why have you been red for so long?
Well, yes, I will go back to green when I guess I have the balls to call it. I guess like a few days ago when I said 16K within 10 days, and we did do that within like 2 days. So I mean, I kind of wanted to do there, but I just don't know. Like sometimes it just messes with my head. I just don't do it for being a pussy, I guess. But I will go green again, and it's funny that you started this off with that because it's mostly like I don't know. It's mostly like um when I have this super bullish feeling that we're gonna super giga moon, right? And it's just that was just my way. Like one day, like I think it was 2018. It was funny. It was so coincidental with the I think it was the Binance Tether. Something happened with Tether on Binance. It was super big premium, and we pumped from like 6,000 something, like 6.3 to like 7.8 in one candle. And it's just hilarious because I turned green like a few hours before that, and we fucking mooned. And just from there, I was like, okay, let's do this, right? But yeah, it's something I do like, what's the word? In for very special occasions, right? Because some people they do all the like, I don't know, I just do it all the time. I do it like whenever like it's really gonna be a big move, right? I feel like mine is like I don't know, way more special, I'd say. Like, and we're talking about changing colors, right? And that's kind of cringe, but like still, I think it's pretty important sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure, it's important. But it's as important as you make it. So, what does the Twitter mean to you? Because I know you're a full-time trader. You've got a job right now that's entirely involved in trading as well. So, where does Twitter fit into your life right now? How much does it mean to you?
So it's I love it so much because you get to I just love interacting with people, right? I love people. I've always been someone to someone very welcoming, someone very warm, and it's I just love it. You know, I just get to interact with everyone, big, small, I don't know, dumb, smart, and mean or very kind, right? It's always a blessing. It's so cool. It's just so cool to have so many people at your disposal, right? You can ask for anything. You can get it most of the time, right? You can ask for help. You can ask for what else? Collaboration. You can ask for a lot of things, right? And also, I mean, you can give out, right? You can put out content. You can help out people. Like it's so fun to do, right? It's so fun to just help people, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
just and then make people laugh because I always meme. So it's it's something I like to do a lot, and I love riling people up because it's so yeah, it's just so fun. It's just I just get a kick out of it. So yeah.
I mean, the ability to rile people up and put out a controversial opinion definitely is a useful skill in the social media space.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny to see how people react. And actually on stream, someone said, "Dude, I don't know if sometimes you actually post charts to like against your position to see how people react to them." And it's so funny because it's one would think that's the case, but that's not true. I've never done that. I've never done sentiment farming to just see like, oh, what are they gonna think? And if I do it, like it's super um, clear satire, right? So I don't do that. I'm genuine all the time. So yeah.
Do you think people actually sentiment farm to help their
Oh
trading
yeah,
using Twitter?
100%, 100%. You'd have like, I mean, if you have more than 100,000 followers, all of them NCT, all of them gamblers, all of them emotional about their investment, anything you put out against a coin they like they project themselves 100%. So it's so easy to farm sentiment, right? Because dude, every single bullish post about Bitcoin, every Bitcoin cultist is gonna be like, oh my god, I love this. Let's go retweet, like, reply with like some love, you know. But if you say some bear shit, you'll get the Buckcoin people coming in, and they're gonna be like the same way, but the other way around, right, to the downside. And it's so hilarious. Like, it's so funny. It's just so funny to see. And yes, it's a thing, and it's very, very powerful.
Have you personally used it?
No, no. Yeah, as I said, I don't do that. If it's like I do it and it's like someone with above room temperature IQ can tell it's satire. And if not, then you probably are overly invested. And yeah, because I'm memeing. If it like you should tell, like you can tell if it's satire, like yeah.
That's something which happens as your account grows. You kind of accept the fact that if someone can't tell your tweet is nonsense, or someone uses one of your joke bearish tweets to open a short position, I mean, that person who is making his trading decisions based on a random tweet, like he's going to lose his money anyway. It doesn't matter if he's losing it from your tweet or someone else's tweet.
Yeah, yeah, it's if you do that, like there's very little time that you can get away with that, but most of the time, and then from specific people, right? But most of the time that's not going to work. It's just one person's opinion. You think like no, like okay, the chance of you getting away with it is 50-50, but not really because it's just one market participant and you don't even know if they trade. So it's like, what if they just fucking, you know, talk on Twitter all the time and just, do that instead of trading? So, so yeah, basically, like it's not gonna work.
There are a lot of unqualified opinions in the space, or in the world. The internet makes it very easy for anyone to say anything and find a big enough group of people that agree with him for him to think he's qualified to say such a thing. That's why it's so important to actually get some data behind the opinion you're looking at. So when you hear someone say something about something on Twitter, don't look at the opinion, look at them, see if you think this person's qualified to be giving these opinions. Look at all his past opinions, his past data, get an overall opinion of him. What would you say are the best ways to find smart, reliable people to learn from with regards to trading, investing, or crypto?
Well, you can tell right away from what they post. It's very hard to like to LARP about it. You can tell by the way they post, by the way they talk, by the way they tweet. You know, if they show a lot of emotions, then also if they flex, right? If they flex, some people don't, and it's completely normal to do both. Um, that's the best way to do it. Also, if you know someone that's pretty good and you've seen him, he's verified by you or whatever he posts, and then he's got a friend that he likes a lot, then his friend is probably also legit. What else?
So wait, Red, just to summarize quickly, because you said whether or not they flex. So are you? Which way did that go?
Yeah, some people post like I don't know, like 2 million position sizes. That's what I mean, right? That's fine. It's cool. It's cool. I had a
But is that good? Like, does that mean I should be following this person,
um,
learning from him?
it is definitely not the only metric one should pay attention to, but it is a metric that can tell you that okay, he's got money and
Mm-hmm.
he probably earned it, right? He's keeping it, otherwise he'd be broke, right? For example, people like what's his name, Allen Iverson. He got fucking rich off the NBA. Now he's broke, right? So it's like you got to keep it somewhere, right? So it's like if if you see him posting a lot of size and you still see him doing it. He posts content. He likes people. It's obvious sometimes, right? Those are the things that people should look for. If he's well connected as well, they're legit then, right? The only thing that could be wrong with that person then, it'd be I guess either um, behavioral issues, mental issues. But after that, nothing really. They should be legit.
Nice. Well, a good way to separate the good from bad Twitter accounts. I personally really like the one you mentioned where it's like, if you find someone who you trust, look at people that person trusts, and you can kind of discern the good from the bad. It's like when you want to invest in a project. Like if someone you really trust and you think that person is very skilled and does their due diligence and they're interested in that project, kind of by process of trusting them, you can then trust that project.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
100%.
so you do a lot of Twitch and YouTube streams. Is that purely for the fun, or does that benefit you as a trader?
It's purely for the fun, but it does have some benefits. Like, well, I mean, you can do sentiment farming here because it's pretty fun. Like, if you post an idea, people give you instant feedback. They're like, no, 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 I'm short. What do you mean you're long, right? Or what do you mean we're gonna crash like $2,000? Like, that's just not gonna happen. And then people just get out their emotional side, and it's so funny to see. Obviously, most of the time, um, it's just opinions. Like, they like, I take them with a grain of salt. It like, unless they're a desk, like, no, not a desk, but like, unless they can move the market, then I mean, okay, maybe I'll trust you a bit and I'll maybe change my positions. But like, it's mostly for the fun. I love interacting with people. As I said, I love handling a crowd, riling people up. It's just so fun to me. And when people ask very good questions, I just go off, and then I try to help them as much as I can. And
Can you
besides,
give me an example of what's a really good question which someone has asked you on Twitch or
so
YouTube?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's basic questions like, where would you put your stop and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, okay, I just like, I kind of like get a bit irritated sometimes, but I understand that people are noobs. And like, when I came in, I mean, I should have asked the same stupid question. Well, not stupid questions, but like basic questions, right? And yeah, but a good question is like when they ask something about mentality, or when they ask something about, I'm in this position, or I'm in this, I'm stuck. What would you do? And then that, I love questions about getting what's called exiting positions that you're stuck in, because I love trying to see, because you have now information about people that are offsides on the market, and you're like, okay, so if I were the market, what could I do to make this person suffer more, or what could happen to this guy, so he could be, I don't know, get out break even, or get out in profit. Those are very interesting questions. Questions um, hmm, like regarding skill, regarding yeah, getting emotional, whatever. Like, it's so fun to deal with, because you can go on a tangent. I have a lot of examples. I can show them the chart, what happened here, what happened then and there, and I can just go on and on and on about it, right? And they're like, oh, okay, thank you, and stuff like that, right? And then people can chime in, and then they share their experiences, and they're like, yeah, that happened to me too. And then everyone relates, and then everyone's happy, and then we just make a lot of money, right? but
Yeah.
but yeah, that's basically, yeah, those type of questions about like very, very, I don't want to use deep, but like very what's the word?
Specific questions?
Yeah, very specific questions about situations that don't aren't very cookie cutter, right? Because cookie cutter
Yeah.
stuff, I mean, anyone can be like, okay, just do this and that. But if you have a certain situation, those are pretty interesting, and I go off on those because it's super fun to talk about.
Those are probably very beneficial to your audience as well, because the cookie cutter stuff are the generic rules of trading, because it's not hugely complicated what you're end goal is. Technical analysis isn't immensely complex. What you're supposed to do psychologically isn't immensely complex, but there's a difference between knowing and actually understanding, experiencing, and having applied yourself. So if you're giving people specific examples, what you're doing is explaining these basic concepts in a way which they haven't seen before, and it might finally click for them that they'd actually understand it rather than just have it parroted to them.
Yep. And it's funny how I don't know how the brain works or how we work. Um, so if I tell you something the first time, you may not get it, and then you hear it from someone else with different words, you might get it, right? So I just try to do that because I'm sure people have been on CT and read every single thread, watched every single video, but they just still can't get it to click. So what I try to do is try to explain it in a way that's a bit more, well, I was going to say a bit more relatable, but I can't speak for, the threads or the videos. So a way that I feel they can relate to a bit more, right? So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, well, the relatability is important because I do a lot of educational content. I feel I have a decent ability to explain complex topics in a simple way. And what I was trying to do initially is just cover everything. Like, okay, let's get one out on risk management, one out on technical analysis, one out on psychology. But more and more, what I realize is people don't need lots of different content. They need the exact same core principles told to them again and again in as many different ways as possible until it finally clicks for them. And that's what makes the best content that helps the most people. Just understanding those key basics, which make up trading, which actually brings me on to a quote which I saw from you, which I really liked, and I'd like you to expand upon it. You'd be surprised how much alpha is common sense. What exactly did you mean by that?
Yeah, so I just got mad at myself and sometimes at people. They just overthink it so much. Like, oh my God, I see a 10 million bid here. What's gonna happen? Like, what do you mean? What's like, do you, oh my God, like, do you have any, have you recorded every single time you've seen a 10 million bid? Have you done that? Have you seen what happens? Would me changing the times that happened on the same chart highlighted, would that make you think a bit different? Like, have you done that? If you haven't done that, then please don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a statistical overview of what you're talking about, please do not, just don't overthink it, man. Just use high what's it called, highs and lows. That's it. Please. That's what I used to do. And then when I started overthinking stuff, I just started losing money, and I want to go back to that basic mindset again. I have so much stuff here. I'm pretty good at filtering stuff out and not using a lot of stuff, even though I have it on hand. But still, it doesn't. I'm not using what I'm supposed to. Like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it feels so bad because I used to be, dude. I used to be so like, oh my God, it used to be so simple back then. Like in 2018 when I started, I have a. So what I do is I simplify stuff to the point that anything that's not necessary, I just take it out. And if it is, I'll use it, right? If it's fluff, I mean, sometimes I'll add it, whatever. But you don't need it, right? You don't need it. So there's a lot of alpha and common sense because I used to do here's so I learned from ICT, even though a lot of people hate him. I know a lot of people in Twitter did. I learned from SC. I know a lot of people did, and from Dante as well, right? But I guess I got most from SC and ICT, right? So basically, my style was the boxes, the price action boxes you see all the time, um, but they weren't boxes like they were just breakers. And if some people know about that, so there's an order block and there's a breaker, right? And the breaker is a pretty specific order block. I'm not gonna get into that, but I used to use them, and I used to use highs and lows. It's pretty simple. What I and fibs. That's literally everything I used to do, and it was so simple because it was such a mechanical way of thinking. If we break the low, we're probably gonna go for the next one, right? Right? It's so simple. And listen, if we break the low, um, we're probably gonna go for the next one. And if we're probably gonna go for the next one, you look for a short entry. So you take your fib, you pull it, and then you find your entry. You get your entry, and then you target the next low, and that's it. And you put your stop above the high. Super simple stuff. Nothing groundbreaking. Nothing like it's just, oh my god, I say this because I used to do it, and I see myself in it right now, and it's like, yeah, this is fine as well, but that used to be so simple and so effective that I get so mad at myself that I'm not doing it right now. And it's
So why
literally
are you not doing it if it's a superior method?
because I don't know, I think I need to like strip everything from the chart and just do it again. Like I just say I'm gonna do it, I just don't do it. I don't know. um I don't know. I don't know. Just this is just behavioral stuff that I can't explain, right. But I think I will. I'm saying it. At least I'm aware, right? So that's a start, and then I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the awareness part is huge, and it's very interesting that you say that because we all come into trading looking for that secret method, which is going to make us an oracle and help us predict the market. That's why Elliott Wave, for example, is so attractive to a lot of newer traders because it makes you feel like you're an oracle. Oh my God, it's a wave one, a wave two, a wave three. It's going to go down now. Holy, I predicted the wave four, and you feel like a genius, but then you take it a step back and you're like, oh wait, that was just, it hit some resistance, it came down. Then you can even take it a step further back, which is what you were talking about, which is actually what a lot of my trading is right now. Just spot a trend, it's crypto, assume the trend is going to overextend, and you'll probably make some money.
Yeah, yeah, and about the Oracle thing, that's what fascinates a lot of people, and they're infatuated with that instead of making money, and it's so hilarious because I feel proud of myself because at the start I didn't do that. Like, well, I mean, yes, I did it. Yes, I'm not gonna say I didn't, but I transitioned into that mechanical mindset pretty quickly, and yeah, that's what people like my posts, right? Because I was so mechanical. I was like, okay, if this happens, this we're gonna see here, and if this happens, we're gonna see here, and it did happen, right? And I didn't. It wasn't. Of course, I had feelings of being an oracle, but that wasn't the point. It was the point was that it's so simple. Anyone can do it, and it's just mind blowing how simple it is, right? Some people break their brains with order flow and like, oh my god, 7 million on the bid, and then oh, I just fucking nuked. And like, yes, that's fine. I have friends that do that, and they trade very well doing that. But sometimes it's best to just keep it simple, right? And obviously, if people want to get into that, then we can. But the thing is, it's for well, it's not for advanced people. I was gonna say for advanced people, but like if I teach someone order flow like that's new to trading, it's gonna be basics for him, right? But someone that just knows fibs or just knows RSI and he sees about OI and stuff, he's gonna be like, oh my god, what's this, right? But yeah, that's basically it. It's there's so much alpha and common sense. Like it's going up because there's more buyers and sellers. You know, it's going down because there's more sellers and buyers. It's so simple. It's gonna go
It
up
sounds
because
like, from what you're saying, there's a point of diminishing returns, which eventually comes with what you can learn. But you're also saying that some people are very successful with that stuff. Is that dependent on an individual's personality or skill set, combination of both? If I'm a new trader, like one of our listeners trying to get into the market, how do I know if I should go for simple bare basics or I should be gravitating more towards the advanced statistical stuff?
it's very personal. I drew once on stream the trading spectrum, right? And this is why I love trading so much because it combine it's an art. Like for example, let's say blackjack, other hard probability games, they're closed, right? You don't have the dealer. Um, let's say so you have the dealer's card, right? And then he doesn't throw away the card and picks another, right? It's what the deck throws at him. But in trading, you can have any baboon come in and sell market sell 50 million, and your super perfect long setup is now wrecked, right? So anyone can do anything here. It's fair game. Anyone can come in and do anything. They could bamboozle you. They could do stuff to make you think it's going up when it's not. There's traps. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. There's a lot of fakes.
There's an
There's a lot of
infinite
trading.
number of variables which human emotions and randomness brings into this game versus
Yeah,
blackjack.
yes, 100%. In blackjack, if Trump wins, nothing's gonna happen. The deck is gonna be the same. But if Trump wins here, which I think he hasn't, uh, people are gonna, I don't know, do whatever with they think it's gonna happen with the market, and then others are gonna follow, and then it's gonna become a trend, right? So it's so fun to play this game. It's super fun because it's fair, and it's fair to an extent, but it's super fun. It's fair. Everyone can trade it, and anyone can come up with their opinions, whatever. But the market
That
is never
was
wrong, right? The market is
The
never
market
wrong.
is never wrong, but is it fair? That was a very interesting thing over there. Whether or not the market is fair, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a level playing field?
It definitely isn't, but um, the people, but like there is a way to what's it called, like for us plebs to I'm comparing us plebs as us against, let's say, HFTs, for example. We
Hmm.
can we can coexist, right? They need us, right? So it's like it's completely. That's why I said it's fair to an extent, because if you want to get to the nitty gritty about being fair, then yeah, they have faster connections. They probably have better fees than you, right? So it's, as I said, it's fair to an extent. So it's super fun to play. Super fun. I was gonna say something else. The original question, because as I said that I go on a lot of tangents. What was the original question? If I think I forgot, because like I was gonna get back to that, but
Oh, I believe we.
yeah, I remember if order flow was like fine for basic traders or whatever, and it is it's completely fine. Coming back to the trading spectrum, I have artists on the left and very hard science people on the right. I have people, for example, let's who comes to mind? Salsa, let's say he's super on the left, even though he may use statistical analysis, right? There's nothing wrong with it. And then we have people on the right, quants. I have a lot of dude. I have a few friends that don't see. They don't look at the chart. They don't trade using the chart. They just don't use the chart or the order book. They don't use it, and they have bots that they're always trading, and they're super profitable. They're so good. They're so smart, And I just see that, and I'm like, so this friend said he only had 2 losing days in a month, and and one of them was because he fucked up. He fucked up, not his bot. So it's like, what do you mean 2 days? That's 28 out of 30. Like, what? So it's just insane to me how people can come up with the same gains, right? Being on either side of the spectrum. It's so fun. This is such a fun game, right? So think of Salsa, think of Cuban, think of me, think of who else? Traders that just use charts on the left side, the artists, right? And on the right side, think of the quants, think of those people, hard science or orientated, right? And it's a spectrum because it can't be black and white, right? Like I need to use statistical analysis sometimes. And then the quants need to learn how to read fundamental analysis, right? They can't just ignore for example, COVID, right? They can't be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave my bot." Of course you could, right? But it's like, okay, this is kind of sketchy. I might turn my bots off, right? So you know what I mean? It's a spectrum, and just identify yourself in that spectrum. And I think I'll give you a few keys to like identify yourself. So if you find yourself loving math more than, I don't know, um, being, I don't know, an improviser or stuff, like you want everything organized, you like everything very what's it called, you love math, you're a nerd, whatever, you can go to the you need to go to the quant side, right? You need to go to the right. And if you're literally someone that just goes with the flow, likes to see what other people are doing, likes interacting with people like me, etc., a people's person, they go on the left, right? And then you tweak yourself until you find yourself exactly on a point on the spectrum, right? I feel I'm a bit slightly to the left. Of course, I can't code. I just can't. I don't like. I like. I've been asked to code. I just don't do it. I don't know. I mean, I've done some indicators and stuff, but that's it. That's basically it. And that's the most I go to the right. Because otherwise, I'm not staying true to myself, and I'm not, I'm not playing to my strengths. So that's what people should do. That's what people should be self-aware on, and then they could pick. Then they could pick. Okay, I want to code. I want to code some bots. I want to do statistical analysis all the time, or I just want to stay, 16 hours in front of the screen and watch the 1 minute chart, which is fine because I did it. A lot of people do
It's
it.
all fine. And I like the way you put that spectrum in play, where there's the artsy side and then there's the more mathsy side. Though I would throw into that regardless of where you are on the spectrum, if you don't have a fundamental understanding of mathematical basics like percentages, ratios, and there's a disproportionate number of people out there that do not understand that, then you're going to lose either way. You need to understand the basics of mathematics and in turn apply that to risk management. If you don't have that macro picture in mind, you're just a ticking time bomb guaranteed to fail eventually.
Yeah, 100%. And the maths people, they should also understand be the brain, right? For example, I didn't know he was a maths major. Like, oh my god, I was so amazed because it's like, yo, he's a Chad, and he also like he's a nerd. Like, oh my god, that he's a fucking he's a bomb. Like, oh my
Wait,
god.
who? Sorry, I missed that.
Suzu.
Who's a maths major?
Suzu is the he owns 3 Hours Capital with Kyle. I
Oh,
think he.
Suzu. Sorry, I didn't hear whose name you said.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, of
yeah.
course.
So it's insane how I didn't know that. I thought he was just someone very fundamentally orientated, right, from on the left side of the spectrum. And then I learned that, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so well, he's so well built. That those two things are so good to have. So yeah, as you said, people on the left should worry about understanding maths, like basic maths on trading, and then people on the right should I'd say should also learn how to read people, right? Because you can tell who's offside. You can tell when a narrative is cooking, and you can be like, okay, I can turn on, I don't know, these type of bots today or whatever. You understand? So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
yeah.
You also need there's a certain level of flexibility. You said go with the flow earlier when describing people on the left side. If you don't have that on the right side, you're going to get wrecked because this is a weak science. This is not a hard science. Like our data only has so much meaning. So when we're actually trading, we need to have some level of discretion where we notice shifts and trends in the market before our data tells us.
And that's why it's a spectrum. And that's why people change. They could go from the left side to the right. There's nothing wrong with it. So so find your personality, find where you stand on the spectrum, and then pick your style.
So where are you on the spectrum right now? And what is your trading style? If you could expand onto that.
I'm more to the left. I like looking. I do a lot of work with fractals. I just remember a lot of stuff. Like patterns are imprinted in my brain. If you show me something, I'll take you to a place in time that reminds me of it and what happened. Obviously, I'll compare it if it's comparable. Like if it's like there's limitations to this. Like it's not just some fancy like, of course, I'm not going to compare something like I'm not going to compare something that looks similar with a different context. That's just dumb. That's just asking yourself. That's just confirmation bias. And with most of the fractals I do, it's just it just helps me form opinions, right? It doesn't need to play out like perfectly. If it did, it'd be another game. Like, come on, people expect that to play out exactly like how it did, but that's just not how it works. Like other people are here, other market participants. The time is different, the price is different, so things can change. Even though it looks similar, things can change.
Yeah, absolutely. So, primarily, right now, if I gave you a naked chart, what is the first thing you would do to it? For you, and I gave you a naked chart of an asset you are looking for a trade in, to be more specific.
Okay, well I well I mark the highs and lows. I visually mark the POC, imagining I can't use any indicators. It's pretty simple to mark it out. Like it's like if you have a candle chart, it's pretty simple to spot where most of the closes are in consolidations. So that is mostly where the volume was concentrated, unless there was a big anomaly somewhere and and you're not seeing it without the volume. So that would be the first thing I do: mark out highs and lows, spot somewhere I'd like to see price going, and then assess if it's worth to take the trade or not. And that's it.
I really like that. As a word, that's it's clear, it's strategized, and it's awesome. Leading into this next question, is that going to change at all now that, congratulations, by the way, you have a job at a proper fund?
It's not a fund. It's a it's an LTC desk. It's pretty big. It's I'm very yeah. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. I've been looking for this for over a year now, and it's just insane because I finally got it right, and I don't want to say what it is yet until I finally start, which I'm starting the 16th. I officially signed Friday, November 6th, and it feels so cool, man. It feels so cool to be part of a great company. It's like, yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. I never thought I would be part of it, and I didn't even know them until like a few weeks ago. So that's insane.
How did
And
you find that opportunity?
how did what?
How did you find that?
Oh, so I was so from the beginning, I'll take you because to give you a bit more context.
Please do.
Yeah, a lot of people might know me that I traded for a small fund back in 2019. I traded a lot of alts, um, and spot Bitcoin and stuff. And people just liked it a lot. People liked it when I posted a lot of stuff about that, my positions, my portfolio balance. Like, okay, he's 50% long Bitcoin. He's got 20% on a I don't know, XRP. And then it's so funny. People would be like, "Why aren't you buying Theta or something? Well, why don't you have this coin in your balance?" Like, I'm like, because I can't buy that because it's pretty risky for the fund to buy it. And then yeah, but basically that was my first intro to like a crypto career instead of just being a neat trader, right? Trading for myself and stuff. Um, so I was very proud of that. They actually approached me on Twitter, and yeah, it's pretty funny. They approached me on Twitter, and I was like, "This might be a scam. This might not be a scam, but I don't lose anything." And they seem okay, so let's just start my crypto career, right? And I did that, like officially started because like you start it when you start trading for yourself, but I wanted to start like, the word is not legally, but the word is kind of professionally, I guess, right? So I like to think about that situation as a semi-professional experience, and then this one I'm having right now is going to be a professional experience. So I did that for since April to October, and then the company ended in December because they couldn't meet the next funding round. So you know how companies get funding rounds, right? The seed and then the A, B, and C round and stuff like that.
Could
So
you
yeah,
explain in a little more detail for our listeners?
well, I'm not that into that, but I know it's so when you do a startup or any company, they need funding, right? So what you do is there's a seed phase, seed phase, and like you get the angel investors, you get the super believers investing in you, and then once you get up and going, you get other rounds, and then other people come in, and that's it, right? And yeah, it's basically basic basic venture capital. I think I butchered it a bit, but
I can follow up for a second where so the seed round is the primary round of investment that comes in for a company. It's when not much has been put in place. The team is still very small. It's people that believe more in the idea than the company itself. And then as a team and proper product gets put together, it starts advancing into something like the private stages where people who can see something of the company and less of the idea. And then as you transition from idea to actual company, you transition from seed to eventually when the public can invest in a company.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the company, in those phases, that's where the company, I just couldn't make it,
Hmm.
and it's completely fine. That's just the way life goes. And then I parted ways. Nothing bad. No hurt feelings. Like we both love. Like it was a mutual, respect, mutual love. And then it started for me to look for, to continue it, because why would I not continue it, right? So I searched for um, prop shops and stuff, and I was so close. I was so close. Like by saying this, I don't mean I didn't pass, but like legal issues like visas and stuff. Like I was supposed to move to Australia after that. I couldn't do that because visa issues and stuff. And then that happened, and then I just got bummed out. And then after that, I also got an offer at a very not very known, but well, a known fund in America, and I couldn't. I just moved to Spain. I couldn't do it remote, so I had to move to Spain, and I that's where I mm, continued my so like I took a break after
Hmm.
that. I took a break after the fun the first job. I took a break for like three
A break
months.
from trading or looking for a
Yeah, yeah,
job?
just a break from trading and just try because yeah, a break from trading and everything because I was gonna move. I wasn't gonna like why would I be quote unquote active if I'm not gonna post anything? Like
Yeah.
I was moving and I was setting up and stuff, and then I finally when I felt good, I came back, and then it was super fun again. And then in between I was still looking, and yeah, and when I came back someone else approached me, um, that also couldn't that opportunity also couldn't be fruitful,
Yeah.
um, and then I was talking to someone else and it just didn't pan out, stuff like that, and I was just bummed out of my mind for like the longest time. I just felt like I was spinning my wheels and stuff, and yeah, and then one day a month and a half ago I spoke with Dan from CMS, because he mentioned he had CMS, right, and they do prop trading and stuff. And
Yeah.
then he said so I asked him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep," because he's a super nice guy. He's super nice. Like I didn't expect the response he was gonna give me. I didn't expect it at all. He's super nice. He's like, "Yeah, man, I can help you out. Like I'll keep my ear to the ground, right?" And he's like, I can do intros to you. I'm like, "Oh my god, what do you mean? You don't even know me?" Like, "Oh my god, that's so nice of you." And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, it's just people helping out people, right?" And I'm like, "Wow, dude, this is nuts. Like that's insane."
You'd be
And
amazed what you can get if you actually put yourself out there and approach people as a genuine person with good intentions.
yeah, exactly. That's what I wrote about like a few weeks ago. I said if you want to get big on Twitter, literally everything starts by just asking someone else to like I don't know, be your friend or something. It does it like if that someone else and is big and sees something in you, and then you're set. You're set. You literally it's super fun. But yeah. Anyway, it's he was so nice, and then he's like, where are you based out of? And then I said, in Mexico. Like, I'm Mexican, right? Because I wasn't going to say Spain because I'm not Spanish. And he's like, oh, I know someone there. And he's a very good old friend. And then he forwarded to me. I spoke to him. We liked each other. And um, yeah, it just went like it literally went from 0 to 100 right now in like a month and a half. I moved immediately as I got like almost I was gonna say confirmation, but I didn't get confirmation. I literally moved without it, and he's like, "Well, dude, you're insane," and I'm like, I mean, I want this so bad, man. Like this is the next step, right? And then
Why do you
that's
want this so bad versus trading for yourself? What's the key differential in your
because
mind?
I want to do something in crypto that um well, I was gonna say build a legacy, but that sounds so cliche. I just want to do something that people remember me for in crypto, right? I just want to be a key part of it, right? Like I don't know, like for example, the for example Sam from Alameda, he's gonna be remembered 100%. Arthur is going to be remembered. A lot of people are like that. I want to do stuff like that. And I also have plans for like helping out, the city I'm in, like later on with probably trading, right, with crypto. And I just have a lot of plans, and it's something I've been meaning to do. That's also, like, as I said, that's also why I wanted to get, into the industry professionally, because I can't do, well, I can, but like it's not going to be the same stuff, as if I did it professionally. So I want to do it professionally. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's and
Definitely
also,
looked into your goals. I know getting on the Binance leaderboard was one of them.
yeah, I was trying to get on the ROE leaderboard because it's so like, I think of trading as a sport, right? And I just want to show it off right that way, because it'd be so fun. Like, people say, oh, you can just grab 100 accounts, deposit point oh 0.01, and then, like, yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna do that, man. That's just, I don't, there's no honor in that. It's not genuine. So like, I want to do that, and I just have a lot of, I just want to prove myself, right? It also feels so good because I just didn't I didn't apply to college, right? So it feels so good. My mom was always like, "Yo, you need to go to college. You need to go to college. You need to go to college." And it's like, Mom, just look at what I'm doing. Please understand this, right? And and this way is kind of a way to like make her feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more, clear headed with what's going on, and that I'm not just fucking wasting my time, right? Just being a knee trader, right? Because it was a good life, but I want, like she couldn't see it. She just couldn't see it, right? Because she's not from this environment. She doesn't understand it, right? So it's like, for example, they didn't believe. So like, when I first got into Bitcoin, I had to ask my uncle for money. They didn't want to give me money because it was like, what is this? This shit's gonna go to zero. I'm like, what do you mean internet money? Yeah, yeah. And then I had to ask my uncle, and then I 10x his shit, and then I made it even more, and then they were like, oh, okay. And then now I want to do this professionally, because now it's like, um so in Mexico it's like, and I'm guessing other countries, but like getting like a degree and stuff is like so like imprinted in culture that if you don't go to college, it's like, what are you doing, right? What are you doing with your life? And I just didn't like school since like I was a super straight A student, right? I was a super straight A student. My mom was like, because my mom's a teacher, right? So she always made me like get tens, like, well, yeah, in Mexico it's tens, and America it's A's and whatever. And the highest scores and stuff, I was at the top of my class and stuff all the time. And then a teacher came in, and it just fucked everything up.
Oh,
I just,
really?
yeah, I just lost my love for, I don't know, being, I don't know, like, for following the rules, I guess. And from there on, I just hate it. I just hated it at school. And like, it's fine.
To expand upon that, it's like, on the one hand, it's terrible. It's amazing how one bad teacher can completely overhaul your entire view of education. And then to touch on something you said a little earlier, that was how ingrained degrees are into specifically third world country cultures, but just as much first world country cultures as well. It's because the previous generation, and these are conversations I've had with people from that generation, where they don't understand fully, not all of them, obviously, that's stereotyping, but a vast majority of them don't understand that any skill you can learn in university, you can teach yourself with the internet for free.
Yeah, yeah, it's different times. It's different times, and I mean, it's ironic because both of my parents are teachers, right? My mom was a pre-K teacher. She's still studying for that. Like, she's finishing her studies, and my dad is a PhD scientist. Like, he's on the other way of the spectrum, right? He's on the other side. He's at the top of the level, right, of education. He also teaches grad students sometimes. So it's like, um, I'm not dumb, right? I'm not dumb. Like, I have these pillars, which are my parents, that taught me everything. And that's why I also see life like this, because of my dad, of course. And that's why I'm with people like this, because of my mom. So it's pretty cool. And it's pretty ironic that they didn't go to school, right? Because both of them are teachers. But anyway, yeah, you just need one person to change your life. And it was my teacher. and she fucked up. Well, not really, right? Because I'm here. But it feels so good to finally, like, since then, I've been just thinking of other stuff, right? How to be free, how to do stuff, how to do whatever I want, how to help out people, and it's just so fun that crypto has given me that chance, and it's gonna give me even more chances. So it's super fun. It's so like the reason I didn't apply to college
Has
was
crypto already given you money? Are you now moving? Is that why legacy, helping people, having fun? These are the recurring themes I'm seeing, but you've not once mentioned the money itself. Even when it comes to trading, you talk about trading as a sport. Where does the money come into all of this?
well, I mean, as in what sense?
Uh, is money still a motivator? Does the money matter to you? Do you have monetary goals? Because I haven't once heard those specifically during this
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, because it's definitely important, right? Because I'm not gonna live off hugs and kisses, right? So so I need to buy stuff, right? So it's 100% necessary. I do have goals. It's so for example, when I started trading, I started with 5 figures. Next year I started with
Yeah.
six, and then this year I'm probably gonna do seven. I'm gonna do seven, like one way or another. I did it, you know. So um, it's um it's so cool to just climb up, right? And it's it's like I don't talk about it that much because that's money. I just think of that as a byproduct. Like I'm doing this for fun, I'm doing this for the people, I'm doing this to help, and then money comes in, you know, and then I use that for even more. So it's super fun to do that, right? So that's where the money comes in for me. It's not like my main uh well, by saying it's not my main goal, I would be lying because lying to an extent because like for the things I want to do, I do need money. So like, yes, I need a lot of money, and to accomplish them, yeah, I need a ton of money. Like I want to do
Yeah.
I want to make a big dent, and for that, I'm going to need money. So the byproduct is the money, right? So yeah.
It's a means to an end. It's not a primary motivator. And that's a very sustainable way of doing things. It's probably why you have so much motivation at your current new job.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I want to do a lot of stuff to the company. Even I'm just a sales trader, right? Even though I'm just a sales trader, I want to do a ton of stuff to the company. Like I want to help with anything they need, anything, because I want to do it. Then I don't want to be just fulfilling my role. I want to do even more, right? So yeah, that's the point of me. That's the gist of everything I do. And
And that's a great way to enter a company. A lot of people get a job at a company and assume they just have to go do their job. But there's so much more to it. It's the energy you bring. It's the desire that, it's the understanding that a company isn't just a machine that's ticking and moves forward and you're a cog in that machine. It's actually this thing with infinite possibilities, and entrepreneurship becomes so important, actually innovating and growing the company from your role.
yeah, and that's how this company has grown to be, you know, and that's the way this company has grown to be, you know, where they are right now. They're literally the top three OTC desk in the world for crypto. So it's insane. It's insane. It's just nuts. The work ethic needed, the motivation needed, the betting on this industry from the start is nuts. You know, so it's so cool to be paired with people, you know, as you know, equally minded, right? Equally motivated. So it's so cool. It's
That
insane.
company culture is huge. That'll elevate you, I'm sure, your trading and your overall success to new levels. So
Yeah,
I'm quite excited to see what's to come for you there.
yeah. I'll post about it later when I start, so I can. I'll do a follow up tweet to the first tweet I made about the career. Uh, I posted my equity curve and stuff. I'm gonna do the next tweet on that thread is gonna be about this, and I'm just gonna keep updating it to where life takes me. So yeah.
Definitely should be. Red, one of your most popular tweets is on a book called Trading in the Zone. And as we draw to the end of the podcast, I'd love for you to leave our listeners with your top book recommendations if they want to become better traders.
Yeah, that would be, well, of course, trading. I mean, so most of the psychology books on trading, they could say what they say in like 2 pages, right? But as you said, in the beginning, people need to hear it and need to be hammered with it a lot to get it going, right? So it's fine. But yeah, trading in the zone. If you don't want to read the whole stuff, I mean, I made the the summary. Whereas a market wizards is a great motivator. It's just insane, and it's also good for knowing how people think, what motivates them, what makes them feel bad or good, what they do if they get in a rut. It's so cool, right? What else? Um, it's called Red Blooded Risk. And that one,
Red Blooded Risk. I've never heard of that one.
yeah, Red Blooded Risk. It's pretty hard science orientated, but it has comics. So that's pretty. I just found that very cool because it appeals to anyone that can't just read it and be like, okay, I understand it. No, the guy made pictures. That's pretty funny, and that's great. He made comics on it on certain chapters. That's pretty cool. It teaches you a lot about let's say your risk profile, for example, and it's pretty cool. So that what else? Mm, I'd say the 48 Laws of Power is also fine, although it sounds.
Definitely not trading, but I can see why you'd relate that to just general success in life.
Yeah, and the cliche Art of War.
Red, thank you for the fantastic book recommendations. Now, where I'd like to go next is something we haven't discussed. We've discussed a lot about your trading style, and how you got into the game, where you're going with the game, but not about your investing. When it comes to building long term wealth, what approach do you take?
I have no approach. I've not yet reached the levels of, for example, people like Gainsey, people like Suzu, people like them. But if I had to right now, I'd say you could call the professional career investing, and maybe if you want to stretch it out, if you want to do a little reach, investing, in crypto, because I am betting on that crypto is gonna be. Well, I mean, it's already like we're already, with the first foot in like in the inside the door, like past the door. So it's like it's not that risky right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like that could be one way of investing if you want to really do a reach.
I mean, you own crypto. Surely that's. If I'm sure you have crypto exposure,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So if like I thought you meant like what's it called like I don't know like equities or I don't know
like
lend.
angel investing.
Yeah, like or getting interest. I thought you meant that, but if you mean like BTC and stuff, yeah, 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 BTC, ETH, and Link, Link, because my boss hates it, but I do. If it has the memes and it has like all the coincidences, like for example, the smartcontracts.com was domain was registered like I think a week before like Bitcoin. Like that's just too coincidental. And Sergey is like great. Like there's so much that it's just too coincidental, too good to be true. So I just say, okay, it is true, right? Let's bet on this, right? So yeah, BTC, Link, and some ETH, and that's it. I just plan. That's the plan, right? And then whatever I get from trading, all that I just put it on the stack, and that's it. Basically, I don't have any like I don't have it in like interest rate or like yeah platforms or the Wi-Fi vaults or anything like that. I don't have it yet. I don't have enough to like justify me putting it in there
I mean,
because
if you're trading a seven-figure portfolio, I'd say you definitely have enough to start thinking about and moving in that direction. I'd also recommend this, and I also recommend to our audience, listeners as well, to do it as early as possible because you know the power of compound interest and how important it is to start this 1 year early versus 5 years early. Like how much more beneficial that 5 years earlier will be when you're like 45, what you'll have versus if you started 5 years before.
Mhm. And yeah, I just wanted to correct you on that because I don't yet have 7 figures yet. So I said this year it looks very likely that I will.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Apologies.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not trying to say something that's not right, but yeah, you're 100% right. Starting early is completely fine. And definitely when I feel like I have the like the what's it called, like, I guess not the need, but like, I don't know when, I don't know, the time will come, and I think I'll put it in like lending platforms. I think that's pretty good. I think I'll do
Yeah.
that. And because I mean, you're just getting free, like, free interest rate for your collateral. So I mean, why not, And
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that'd be
there's no such thing as free. Always, whatever percent you see, assume that risk. Stock market gives you 8%. If it's higher than that, it's riskier than the stock market.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It's not free. You're putting up collateral. Anything can happen, right?
Indeed.
Something might happen. So yeah, but that's where I stand on investing. I'm really like, I'm guessing most people in CT. I just don't have a plan yet on that because I just haven't had like the means to do it. Right. When I get the
Mhm.
means, I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely ask you. Right. But yeah,
Sure, man.
it's
Anytime.
that's where I stand on it, and yeah.
Nice, nice. Very interesting to hear because there's so much crossover between trading and investing. And you're actually not the first person I've spoken to who trades extremely heavily, but when it comes to investing, hasn't even thought about it yet.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, like as we discussed earlier with styles and the spectrum. Also, like in the money game, um, there's a lot of styles, right? You can be the house. Like for example, a friend of mine, he's a bookie, right? He is a house, and then some like other friends are the traders, right? So it definitely is a style, right?
Yeah.
And you can pick it, right? You can do anything, right? You can be the house, you can be a market maker, you can be a directional gambler, right? Like you just have to pick it. You just have to pick your style and go with it. And I think obviously it cannot be ignored, especially investing. Uh, but trading, yeah, trading can be afforded to be ignored, right? But investing, not
I mean,
really.
eventually you want to ignore trading. You can't want to
Yeah,
trade forever.
exactly. Exactly. Like if it'd be dumb for me to like it'd be dumb for me to keep treating it as a sport because yeah, you get old and stuff, you want to do other stuff. You want to do a lot of things and you just can't devil like like pu- um put as much time as you would as when you get older, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely is the point to just get enough money and then just let it ride investing, right? So yeah.
For sure. That's definitely a macro goal. Red, this has been an awesome podcast. I'm so happy for you. The fact that you've managed to accomplish your goals and get to where you want to be in life right now. And there's only big things to come from here. Thank you for sharing your trading style, your top book recommendations, and everything else we had the pleasure of covering in this podcast. Is there anything you'd like to leave our audience with before we wrap this up?
I'd say if you're struggling to keep trying and to not let go, if you have the gut feeling that you're gonna make it, you're probably gonna make it. If you feel you're not gonna make it, then you're not gonna make it. Simple as that. And just keep playing to your strengths. Um, take every opportunity you can, and don't look down. Just keep your head up because it does get better, and it might feel like a lot, but you can make it. You can make it, and it is possible. Anything you think you can do, it's possible. Anything you write down, anything you think you can do it.
Those sound like they were from the heart and personal experience. He
Yeah,
who
of
says
course.
he can and he who says he can't are often right.
Yeah, it's most of the time when you ask people to give advice, they're talking to themselves, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Red, thanks a lot, man. Hopefully, we can have you on again once you've helped take your company that you're working at to the next level. And you can tell me about all the ingenious things you've put in. Thanks again for your time, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, man. It was a very lovely podcast. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Market Meditations podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like us to continue bringing you fascinating people from across the world, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you like to listen to these podcasts, and share the episode with a friend. If you have feedback or an idea for a potential guest, reach out to me on Twitter at KarushAK, and do not forget we write a newsletter covering all important topics in crypto and traditional markets. We send it out 3 times a week. The Market Meditations newsletter. You also get early access to these episodes, and you get transcripts and extra notes as well, so make sure to subscribe there as well.